Hello everyone, welcome back to Alkaline Hydroxide 784. And finally we are doing another Project University episode. So this will be the advice video and it's about the first semester of university. How do you survive it, I think. Kind of. Something like that. Okay, so I'll just quickly go through a bunch of aspects. And if you're more interested in knowing about my experience in the first semester, you should watch the blog video related to this. So, yeah. So I'll just go through the things one by one and I'll just give you my thoughts on what I think would be good to do in the first semester after being through the first semester myself, I suppose. So the first thing of course is if you are in NTU especially you'll most likely get a hall room or something like that. So for me, since it's like a single room, I don't have to worry about other people in my room. But I think the more important thing about the room is first of all you should know how to organize it, I suppose. So make sure that you are able to organize it well over the semester and not end up in a state of disarray. And just make the most of what you have in your room. If you can find some interesting location to keep your stuff, then just use that location and keep your stuff there. And also be a bit aware of the dust that can collect in the room, because after a while the fan in your room might get quite dusty, so do be careful about that. And yeah, I guess this is pretty simple. Just follow this, like, just have like some kind of housekeeping attitude towards your room, but at the same time you don't have to worry about it becoming too much of a mess, because honestly you're not gonna spend that much time in your room except at the night time, so you don't really have to worry too much about it. Of course, in the hall there's also laundry location, and there's also a small pantry in some of the halls, but the pantry isn't some place where you can go full on, like all out with your cooking or anything. It's just a little induction stove and a microwave and a sink, I suppose. I think it's better than nothing, but yeah, please don't over expect from the pantry, I guess. Okay, now let's move on to the actual stuff that you do in university, which is your CCAs and your studies and stuff like that. Okay, so for CCAs, what's my advice? If you're scared of having too many commitments and you want to focus on your academics, then I suggest just go for one CCA. But you must at least go for one CCA, because otherwise you need to have something to keep your sanity in check. So you can choose to go either for a CCA in your school itself, like your academic based CCA, or you can go for something that's within your hall, which I think is a good idea too, because it will allow you to stay in hall in future years. And or if you wanna go for the union based CCAs, or like the more school university wide CCAs, you can do that too. So just weigh your own interests, your own choices, and make sure that you are ready for whatever commitments your CCA has. If you want to go for more than one CCA or activity, yeah, that's not an issue. It's entirely possible, but I think don't do too many. Otherwise you'll end up having clashes in your own within CCA activities like I face right now. So I think one or two is good. Don't do more than that. Otherwise you're gonna have some scheduling nightmares within your own CCA activities, and then you'll feel quite guilty for missing one of the CCA activities for another. So yeah, if you're fine with that, then go ahead and go for more CCAs. But if you're not fine with it, then uh yeah, just stick to one or two. Of course, make sure those CCAs count, like they make your life interesting, or they give you some kind of a break from studies. Don't make it something that's even more stressful than your studies, in a sense, you know what I mean? Yeah. And of course, within your CCAs, do try to, if you are willing to take any kind of leadership not necessarily the highest leadership, or even for like subcoms or something like that, then do it, because it will help you in the future. You learn some skills, you get to talk to more people that way, interact with more people in that sense, and you learn many things by doing that. So please do that if you have the time and the commitment, like if you have the responsibility to do that. So now let's go to the studies academic part of university. What should you be doing? I guess for the first semester you're usually given your modules, unless you're in one of those humanity courses which allows you to choose your modules. If you're able to choose, then of course choose the stuff that you like to do first, because in the first semester you're still integrating into the university system, and therefore you would want to choose things that you like to do rather than to choose something that's really stressful right from the beginning, like right from the get-go. But if you're allocated something that will give you stress, then I guess deal with it, I suppose. If you're supposed to be doing it in that semester, then just deal with it. But hopefully it won't be that many modules, just one module that gives you stress. Or if you feel like you have too many modules, then you can drop one of them and do them in the next semester. But at the same time, don't have too light a load, because otherwise your subsequent semesters will bear the brunt of that particular, you know, mod. So yeah, do be wise about how many units you want to do, or what modules you want to do. And about exemptions, you might get the chance to exempt some modules. To be In my opinion, it would be good to actually exempt it, because especially if you are generally okay, you get decent grades normally, you should be fine. You don't have to worry about keeping some modules just to get a good GPA, because at the end of the day you still have the next 7 semesters to make sure your GPA is good. So at the very least, there's quite a few benefits to exempting a module, which is that you can have a lighter load, eventually towards the end of your university, journey, because you can finish the mods earlier and then make your life a lot easier in a sense. I'll tell you more about that in the experience in the blog video, so if you want, you can watch that. And if you're looking at classes, should you attend your lectures or not? Of course, in NTU, a lot of people do not attend the lectures after the first few weeks, especially if it's something that's like an introductory course and it's pretty much just sitting there and listening to a bunch of information that you need to then answer a bunch of MCQ questions on. But do realize that there are some lectures that are not recorded, so if they're not recorded, then you should definitely attend them. They're usually the ones in the humanities school, because I did a module that was for linguistics and that was not recorded in any case. And it was actually quite interesting, so it was worthwhile attending the lecture anyway. But I usually attend all of my lectures. I think I never really skipped any of the lectures, in fact. It's more like I accidentally had to leave early for CCA commitments or something, but most of the time I never really skipped any lecture in the entire semester. So I think it is possible to attend all of your lectures without fail. And yeah, if you plan well and you wake up early. Yeah. So where should you sit in the lecture theatre? Should you sit in the front? Should you sit in the back or in the middle? If you are willing to be fully active in the lecture, and if you want to give yourself less chance to sleep, then sit in front, because then you have that kind of pressure to stay focused on the lecture and not fall asleep. But let me just say, it doesn't work all the time, because I still somehow manage to fall asleep, so don't ask me why. I don't know how to overcome that sometimes. Okay. But yeah, please do not sit at the middle. It's better than sitting at the back. But yeah, it's up to you to decide. I'm not gonna enforce anything. So what about tutorials? I think you should definitely attend the tutorials, especially if you have questions to ask. Please do do the tutorial beforehand and go to the tutorial classes. Uh, okay, what else? Projects. If you have any projects in your major or something on your modules, how do you go about doing it? You have your own group members and things like that. Of course, in JC we have PW and all that, but this one is more of like lesser time, but at the same time you still need to do something that's pretty decent. But most of the time the project won't ask for too much, so don't over worry about the project, like don't overthink it. And at the same time just focus on what the project asks you to focus on. Don't focus on all kinds of other arbitrary things when you have to be focusing on something that will actually get you marks for that project. And if you are the kind of person who usually doesn't do work, then please do contribute at least one thing, because it is possible that you have a peer review as part of the mark as well. So do at least one thing in your whole project, especially if you have a lot of people. It can be hard to do something, but do whatever you can do. If you're scared that you don't have the skills to do certain things, like maybe if you wanna if like so there'll be someone who's good at aesthetic stuff and someone who's good at typing out the thing or something, then okay, you can leave those jobs to them, but at the same time give your contributions or give your opinions at the very least. It's better than staying silent throughout and not doing anything useful. So yeah. But yeah, of course do realize that projects also contribute to your grades, so do your best in them. Right, so what else? Okay, so the next thing would be about the food and other stuff that people care about in their daily lives. So of course in NTU we have like so many canteens, but most of the time we always end up eating in the either the North Spine or South Spine canteens, because we spend most of our day there. And yeah, and to be honest, I'm not really the right person to ask for recommendations, because first, I'm a vegetarian, and the only place I would really want to go to is the North Spine. That's pretty much it. I'm sorry. So yeah, please don't expect food recommendations from me. Anyways, so but yeah, there's a lot of places you can try depending on your dietary requirements and everything. And I think the best people to ask are your seniors, because they've been there before you, and they might have tried more stuff than you have. So to ask your seniors, and that's why you need CCA. You can ask your CCA seniors for this kind of information, very important information. You can even ask them for your academic help if you want to get another opinion on what mod you should do in the subsequent semester and things like that. And the final thing is time management. Time management is quite important, because in university we have that triangle of things, the studies, the activities, and sleep. And usually people who want to do well in their studies and also participate in activities end up losing out on sleep. Yeah, it's like you can only have two of the things. But it is possible to have all three of the things. It's just that you have to be a bit judicious about what you do for each thing. So in terms of time management, you should first think about um your activities. So activities are quite important, because they'll determine when you go and sleep. If the activities usually take place after lessons, which means in the evening or even in the night. So let's say, for example, my hall dance, it ends at 10:30. If I go back to my room and then I do some stuff to just freshen up and I don't know, wrap up the day, it may become 12 o'clock by the time that I actually go and sleep. So if you're someone who prefers sleeping earlier, you might find this a bit out of your comfort zone. But if you still want to do the activity, then live with it, I suppose. Some people may choose to sleep late and then wake up late. That's perfectly fine. Just don't wake up too late. Otherwise, you'll miss your lessons. And then you can maybe just plan your lessons to not start too early. That could work in your favor. But do get enough sleep. Don't like sleep for too little time. I mean, because otherwise your brain won't function the next day. So yeah. And of course, time management in terms of doing your assignments on time. Yeah, please be aware of when your assignments are due so that you can finish everything on time and not end up having to stay up until 2 a.m. to finish your homework or something. Do it when you actually get the time to do it, and so that you don't have to do it on the day before handing in the assignment. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I have nothing else to say. So I hope you find this useful. If you did, press the like button and subscribe. If there's anything else you want me to talk about, please do say it in the comments below. If not, I would like to say thank you and bye.